Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, Jerry Royce, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Positive Power 21.org. I'm your host, Jerry Royce. When it's all positive, it's all power. Positive Power 21.org. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for the people who joined us live tonight, and also for those of you who are listening to a pre-recorded broadcast. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting the Positive Power 21 radio talk network. And all the good things that's been happening to us. Also, we want to thank our sponsors, some past guests that were on the show. They've been really, really great out there promoting Positive Power. And I have a special guest tonight. I'm going to introduce her in a moment. But first, I want to thank Michael McGrew. He's really been out there promoting really hard out there in California. He's going to be our guest tomorrow. And he has a couple projects that's pending, and we're going to talk about that. Also, we have our fantastic guest that we had yesterday, Miss Savannah. You can find her at thesavannahjpublications.com website, and she has a book. Her book actually was released last year, but she's definitely been cranking it up, and she has some other projects that's pending where she's going to be releasing some books that's currently being re-edited. So that's going to be pretty exciting. I want to thank K.R. Ray, Delia Lawrence and Austin Camacho and Jason Talley for coming on the show and promoting so hard out there on the social networks. And please come out to the website where you have the Jerry Royce Show, and you'll see all of the past guests' books being sold on Amazon.com. So support those authors, and they will support you because we're trying to build a big, happy family here. All right, my guest tonight is Lisa Y. Watson. She's a native of Washington, D.C. She's, well, of course, we all know what the city of D.C. is like. It's a very historic, political part of the country. And, of course, Lisa got all her romantic imagination from that area. Her hobbies are music, collecting music, and she talks about some of the things that she likes to do on her website. She talks about her latest novels. She has what you call multicultural short stories, novels. She loves creating and engaging storylines with strong characters, and everything is drawn together through respect and love. So it's going to be exciting to have her tonight to talk about all these books that she was telling me about. I was like, wow, which one are you releasing? But she had ebooks coming out, and I guess she have a few softbacks that's due out later this year. So Lisa Watson, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight?
I am just fine, Jerry, and thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Now, Lisa, before we get started, I'm looking all over your website, and I see a lot of romance and love being mentioned, series of romance. Are you a romantic person?
I am, actually. I have to admit, I am a hopeless romantic. Watch all the, the nice romantic comedies and films and dramas and whatnot, and definitely romantic at heart and love a happy ending.
That's right. All right. So, and kudos to your husband for being a Baltimore Ravens fan. So, he's a lucky guy. He has the world champions, and he has a romantic wife, and that is great because that means you're keeping it hot. All right. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into talking about some of your projects that's pending right now.
Okay. I have been writing off and on pretty much all my life. I'm sure you hear it a lot. I started writing in elementary school or middle school, or some people start writing in high school, but literally I did really start writing in about elementary school, but
wow.
That was just kind of to myself, and, hit the teenage years, wrote a lot of poetry and stuff like that, but really my passion is just writing stories and novels. So I started doing that about, I want to say maybe 2000, started maybe some fan fiction, which I call my guilty pleasure. I wrote fan fiction for the popular 80s show Remington Steele, and I'm sure a lot of people remember that show. So that's kind of how I got started, putting myself out there, writing stories based on those two characters. And so I kind of put those up on a website and was surprised at the outpouring that I got of people that actually were reading it. I was pretty shocked, I must say. But I started getting emails from people all over the world who were reading my stories and really did like them and encouraged me to keep going. And when's the next part coming out? When's the next part coming out? So that's kind of where I actually start putting myself out there and having my work actually be able to be read by everybody. So that kind of started it. And then I attended a writers' convention, and that literally just changed my life.
Yes. All right. Wow. Now, we was talking about all these projects you have pending, and I guess, sometimes it could be a little confusing for a podcaster who wasn't prepared for the show when they go on and look at, wow, what she has, because I was looking at your stuff last night, to tell you the truth, and I was like, wow, she has a lot of projects going on. Now, because you write so much and write so well, and the stories are coming to you so fast, and now you don't have the restrictions and have to worry about worrying about a publisher backing your project. If they don't want it, you can say, okay, I'll just take it myself. Is developing ebooks making it easy for someone like you?
I find that it is, and authors will tell you, you're as far as your shelf life, you're only as good as the last book you wrote. So you have to keep going, and once you get started, it's like, okay, yeah, you're a published author, but you have to continue to be published. So you do actually have to continue pitching your stories and ideas to editors and to publishers. You have to continue putting proposals together for the next book. And I find that, I like the flexibility of being able to put out the ebooks. I definitely enjoy, a lot of authors will tell you that, sometimes you have creative input on the book covers that you have, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's just, okay, here's your book cover, and you may like it and you may not, but there's not really a lot, you can do about it sometimes. So I like the freedom of being able to pick the book covers that go on my ebooks. And I pretty much enjoy being able to, create a story and kind of just put that up there on my own. It's definitely been a really, good process.
That's right. Now, any of your projects published right now by a publishing house?
Yes, actually, the Matchbroker series that I have out right now is published through the Harlequin KIMANI line.
You said the Match Brokers, right?
Yes, the Matchbroker.
The Matchbroker series. How many books in the Matchbroker series?
There are 3. There was one that came out last April, Love Contract. The second one is going to be out next month, Her Heart's Desire. And the third in that series, Love by Design, is coming out October 2014.
Wow. Now, that's going to be a softcover book?
No, these are all paperback, or you can get the ebook, so either or.
Okay. I said softback. I meant paperback. So
it's late. What technology. Can you say?
Yeah, I know. Fooling around with these soft phones and smartphones and paperback. There's so much to remember for an older guy. Wow. Now, what are you doing as far as offline promotion? Now, I know when you start releasing a lot of these ebooks, I think for some reason the websites, I think those are, I don't even think they call them robots anymore, spiders. I think they work for you because you have so much content and your name is flowing. Is it easy for people to find you that because you have so much out there?
I want to say yes, because I think I Googled myself recently, and I think I was maybe like the first one on the list. So, yeah, it's actually pretty easy. My website is lisawatson.com, so that's pretty easy to remember. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Pinterest now. It's hard kind of trying to keep up with all the social media that's out there and that's available right now. And I find that, I kind of just stick to a few of those and can't keep up. So I'm always looking to my teenage kids to kind of see what's new and improved. And it seems like whenever they get on something, by the time the adults get on, they've moved on to something else. So
that's right,
I got to draw the line somewhere. I'm like, okay, there's Facebook and
that's right.
And just added Instagram. I'm like, this is just a lot.
I know, and I'm starting to hear some good things. Yeah, and I'm starting to hear some good things about Instagram. They're allowing you to push like 25-second videos, which would be a great trailer.
I heard. I've never done it, but I've heard. I've actually posted like a couple of pictures, and that was like the highlight.
Yeah, and they they're user friendly. Everybody see you can. You can click on everybody. There's no restriction like some of the others. So that is great, especially for someone like you that's putting out so many projects so fast. Do you find that because people really read well and they really are, what can I say, that really absorbing your characters, that now when you put your books together, are there any similarities to your characters? I know it's romance, and where are you when it comes to your romance? Is it hardcore, or is it really, I wish I was her, or I wish I was him? So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, to be honest, I have always said, I wanted to make sure that whatever I was writing, my mom could read it if she felt so inclined. So I got to kind of keep it relatively clean. I kind of write what the characters dictate. And so, but it's never past a certain point. You have a love scene or two, but it's not really ridiculously graphic or anything. And that's just because that's how I write.
Okay. Now, what's your audience, your following like? Are you familiar with them?
Pretty much adult women, and I'm familiar with quite a few. It's funny sometimes when you go to the book signings and stuff like that, and the readers come and you tell them, hey, you can email me anytime, let me know how you like the story. Some do, and some probably think, oh, she's not serious, and some don't. So it just really depends, but the ones that, I have heard from, it's been really positive, and that really makes a difference in the author's life. So readers out there, if you like a book, definitely let the authors know, post a review.
That's right.
We really appreciate them. Authors love reviews, and they like to kind of, get a benchmark for how they're doing, and at least I know I do. And I really take to heart what, readers have to say about the characters that I write.
That's right. Now, audience, Lisa is from Raleigh, North Carolina. That's where she's living now, with her husband of 17 years and
18,
two teenagers. 18 now.
Yeah, in March.
Yeah, you got to update. Yeah, you got to update your site.
I got to update.
That's right. You got to update. You got two teenagers and what's that? A Maltese
poo? A Maltese.
What's that? A dog?
Yeah, it's a cross between a toy poodle and a Maltese. He's just a little 12-pound ball of white fur. He's actually sitting on my lap staring at me right now.
Okay, good doggy. All right. Now you've been married for a long time, and I hit 22 years last 2 weekends ago.
Congratulations.
So thank you, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
17, 22, we still right in the same ballpark. Different chapters in your life. I have a teenage daughter, one son 11, one son 30. Don't ask. Started early.
I said a word.
But, keeping it hot, and you're writing, sometime when you're in some of these male characters, are you getting anything from the husband? Is he helping you out sometime with these characters, the male characters?
Not really. I'm married to a software engineer, so
oh God,
he's creative in a different way, and sometimes though he keeps me grounded because I'll try to run something past me. He's like, guys, don't do that, or guys don't talk like that. So I always have to keep in mind when I'm writing my male characters, would they really say this or would they not? So that's kind of always forefront in my mind. And sometimes I have guy friends that I run things past. For one of my previous books, Interview with Love, I actually had a consumer psychologist that did focus groups to kind of help product lines and stuff market to target audiences. So I had in the book, I thought it would be kind of cool to have a line of clothing called Best Kept Secrets, where it's a line of state-of-the-art men's undergarments that are more comfortable the longer they're worn. So for that, I actually enlisted the help of a couple of my guy friends, some guys at work, and I think an old friend of mine, to kind of ask their preference on boxers or briefs. And so I got some interesting, definitely interesting answers back on that one.
That's right, because it depends on the age.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line right there, the age. Yes. All right. So did you launch the apparel?
No, that was just fictional. That was just a work of fiction in my head, but I just thought it would be kind of cool. Nobody stole my idea. I think I better run out and patent it. But, I thought it would be pretty cool to have something like that and then, have the characters in the book have to market it. And so, I think personally that, there definitely should be a ladies' line too, but in the book there was just a men's line.
Wow, that's a great idea. It's funny you bring that up because I was just reading an article online where they was talking about these people who struck it rich with ideas they got from these movies.
Wow.
They were watching some movies, and there was some made-up products, and these people went out there and tried it, and they're millionaires right now.
Okay, clearly I missed the boat. I'm going to have to revisit that.
Yeah, especially because that's really a great idea. You take a book, the characters in the book to market a product that really exists, but it's owned by you, the author.
Right. I think it's time for me to kind of get that together and go on Shark Tank.
Heck yeah. That's a genius idea right there, especially since you write so well. It's funny you have these guys knocking on doors trying to sell something that you really own. That's
exactly.
Funny. Wow. Now you said your audience, you met some of your audience. What's the age group of your audience so far, the ones you have met?
I have met anywhere from like early 20s, college students, all the way up to grandmothers that have read, my work. And so, I've been blessed to have just pretty much everybody in between. So I'm happy. And then I have some of the ebooks I do. I've got 2 now that are actually sweet romances. So there's no sex in those at all. So anybody could read those. And I kind of tried to keep that in mind when I was writing those. So those, have gone over pretty well as well.
Oh, so like young girls, like young teenagers can read those. Yeah,
those are pretty much very just a nice, good old-fashioned love story, or centered around a really nice family. It's Christmas time, so I get caught up in Christmas. So of course it's like all nice and Christmassy and mistletoe and hot chocolate sleigh rides. So those are
all right. I like that.
Romantic in me.
That's right. Now Lisa, we have so many urban fiction books rocking out there right now, and of course, the young girls can get their hands on them. They everywhere, and they depict the characters that you see in these reality shows where the guys don't really respect the women as much, and the women don't respect them, or they're in love, and it's always like they have a big fight and get back together. That's not like a good example of what a good relationship is. Now, your books sound like they have solid characters. Tell us a little bit about a couple in one of your books where a young girl that's 14, 15 can read it and she can learn about what love is. In case she doesn't have it in her home, maybe she doesn't have a 2-parent home. Can your book teach her something? If it can, tell us what it can teach her.
Well, definitely it's more like write what you know or what somebody else knows. But for me, I really am pulling from, stuff that I had in my life growing up. I had a 2-parent household up until I was 15. Then my parents got divorced. But, I have a very close-knit family. I have 2 older sisters and an older brother. And, when we were growing up, my mother did not allow us to be really fighting, physically or verbally. And we just pretty much all got along. I mean, there were sometimes my brother would terrorize me, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, I kind of grew up around very strong women in my family, very strong men, professionals, that kind of, had a lot of love and respect for not only the people in their family, but colleagues, people off the street. You do anything for somebody that really needed it. So when I started writing my books, I wanted to kind of, inject that into my stories. I wanted the people to be, positive people. I wanted them to, have a job, be successful, go for the fantasy. I wanted everybody to kind of, make sure that they love and respected each other. And, sure, people have disagreements and stuff, but it's never going to be, like a physical altercation or anything. I don't do drugs. I don't have any stuff like that in my books. And, what I find in life is there's somebody that's going to write about anything, just depending on what their life is like and what their day-to-day is. And so if that's what you want to read, you go right ahead. But that's not what you're going to find when, you're reading a book of mine. And I've had people that have actually, put up reviews where I've actually been called pretentious. And I'm like, huh? What? Are you kidding me? It's like, oh, she's using big words, or, she's, this is like fantasy land or something like that, and this is not the book I signed up for, and, oh, my gosh, the book had, some Spanish in it. If I'd have known it had Spanish in it, I wouldn't even have picked up the book. So, I mean, you just, some people are going to get you, and some people won't, and that's okay.
That's right. Well, I must say you are very clever with the penmanship, because you got me on that first paragraph. I thought I could read that thing through, and I was like, whoa, was that an English word? I said, wow, she's good. Yeah, we had to practice. Practice last night. I'm reading this. Remember when we started the show, I said, yeah, I can handle the first paragraph. Then I'm reading. I said, wait a minute, what's that word? Am I going to say it correctly? You are clever with the penmanship. But so that basically that person probably was thinking, they probably was an urban fiction novelist, and they picked your book up thinking that's where it was going to be, and it wasn't. Even though you were pretty sophisticated with it, they may have thought they was going to have that experience, and they were a little disappointed. Yeah,
it's not street lit, and it's just contemporary romance, and I tend to interject at some point in time. There's going to be something humorous going on also, and like I said, you kind of write from what your experience is, and so I am just basically pulling from, my life as I grew up and the people that were in it, and, my family members and stuff like that. So there's going to be a little bit of me in, every story, or a little bit of my mother. There's going to be, maybe a sister or a brother or a cousin, or, something, that's my daughter, something like that. So you just never know.
All right. Well, look, I got an idea. Tell us a little bit about one of the characters in your book, or a romance. Something's about to go down. Okay.
Well, the one continuous link from the Matchbroker series within all three books is you're going to have Norma Jean Anderson, and she is a matchmaker. Her son is Adrian in the first book, Love Contract, and she's been happily in love all of her adult life. She married the love of her life. They have a wonderful relationship, and so she's happy. And, with most people that are happy, they want everyone around them to be happy. So she's, much to Adrian's dismay, she's pretty much, a self-appointed matchmaker. And, everybody, has someone in their family that, considers themselves the ultimate matchmaker. And it always starts with, hey, I got the perfect guy for you. I got the perfect woman for you.
Yep.
And Norma Jean is no exception. And she's convinced that all her son and all her son's friends need to benefit, from her wisdom and her happiness. And so, after all, she's found true love. Why not do the same for everybody else, right?
That's right. That's what she's here for.
So, I mean, it's gotten to the point where, Adrian's friends have dubbed her the love broker. So that's kind of what they call her, and it's kind of like a running joke. Who's she going to set up next? And sometimes it, has disastrous results, and that's something that Adrian is having a hard time living down because his friends seriously rag him about that. And she set her son up on some disastrous dates, and one of which he commented, I didn't know if she was going to, if she was staring at me all night long or my Rolex. So, it's just some interesting things that happen when Norma Jean kind of tries to set things in motion.
The match broker. I like that. Man, that sounds like a business, too. Wow, you got all these clever ideas. You putting them right in your book, and somebody probably making millions of them. You probably don't even realize that.
Yeah, I think they're going to start paying me some royalties. But, so that's kind of the continuous factor in all the books. I wanted Norma Jean to be in there. I wanted the family to be in there. And now when book 2, Tiffany Gentry, she is trying very hard to stay under Norma Jean's radar. She's single, and she's a shop owner. She owns a little boutique in Chicago called Le Petit Boutique. And so she's kind of just, tired of the dating scene herself, and she kind of wants a little bit of something different, but she's definitely trying not to get in Norma Jean's sights if she can help it.
Wow. Norma Jean. Wow. What, and that's a name that sounds like she could be like a madam or something. A madam. But she's the match broker. What's the difference?
Well,
one is online and one is not.
Yeah, that's probably true. Norma Jean is definitely not online. She is in your face, kind of person to person.
So where do you see her in the future with your writing?
I think that, Norma Jean is just timeless. She is, as long as there are two people breathing, trust me, she's going to try to see if she can, fix somebody up. So I don't know if we'll see the end of Norma Jean in the third book or not, or if I'll continue the series. We'll have to see. But, definitely she is a fixture in the Matchbroker series, and I just really love her. I think she's no nonsense. She's strong. She's got a sense of humor. She's a petite little thing, but she will knock you in the chops if you get out of line. Adrian has found that out a couple of times, and though she drives him utterly up a wall, he loves her, and she's his mom, and he's her only child. So there's always that strong bond that's going to be there. And though he complains, and believe me, he does, as do his friends and everybody else, there's nothing they wouldn't do for her husband included. Yeah. So, they have some very good interactions as well, because he knows his wife. He knows his Jeannie, and, he points out some real interesting things in the book. And so it's just a nice family dynamic. And I thought that was important. To kind of try to relay that to my readers.
Good. Now, A Heart for Christmas. Now, this book had a lot going on. Now, most of it's centered around someone, business, pleasure type series thing. So what's going on with these characters in this book? Because, somebody saw a little bit of tragedy in this book.
Well, A Heart for Christmas is the first book I put out. I think that was Christmas 2012, I believe. Yeah, Christmas 2012. The first ebook came out, A Heart for Christmas. And that's just a sweet romance. It's centered in North Carolina, and it's about this lady, Yvette, who lost her husband in a really horrific car accident with a drunk driver, and he left behind her and their 9-year-old daughter, Lacey. So she's kind of had to try to hold the two of them together and try to rebuild her life. And it's been a little difficult. It's hard for her at Christmas because that's when he had the accident. So Lacey's birthday is in December, plus her first husband died in December. So she really tries to make it a fun month that's all about Lacey, and they kind of start with the decorating and Christmas stuff, like the first day, in December, and they go all the way through to Christmas. So for her, it's bittersweet. But she tries to make a good face, and she tries to do what she can for her daughter. And then while on a business trip, she meets Christopher Darcy, and she meets him actually in London at an airport. And what she doesn't know at the time is he's known her in college. They all went to Duke University together. But she was kind of caught up in her friends and her boyfriend at the time that ended up being her husband. But Christopher is, unbeknownst to her, Christopher has kind of been in love with her since he laid eyes on her in college.
Wow.
And so when she meets him in the airport, she doesn't know him from anything, and she's just sitting next to this guy, and she happens to look over, and she notices on his screensaver on his smartphone is a picture of a Christmas tree. So she's thinking, okay, what guy has a picture of a Christmas tree, farm, or just a row of Christmas trees on his phone? But actually, Christopher's family has a Christmas tree farm in right near Asheville, North Carolina. And so they kind of get to talking, and they just really do hit it off. And so, the story centers on the fact that he's, trying to kind of keep things going slow. But, they just hit it off, and she's apprehensive because, of her past, and he's just, crazy in love with her from the get-go. So, it's a little push-pull thing going on. But it's definitely, set around a family. It's just a plain, to me, it's a really just good story. And, of course, it's got snow, and we've got it, his family is warm and inviting. And then they just take Yvette and her daughter Lacey, and they just envelop them in just love from the get-go. So it's kind of nice, and her Yvette's aunt is really just kind of rooting for her to just have a happy ending because she deserves it.
That's right. And where did that storyline come from?
Usually everything for me starts with a what if. So I kind of just was sitting there thinking, I'm like, trying to figure out a plot line and a premise for what I wanted to write. I know I wanted it to be set during Christmas time because I wanted it to come out at Christmas time. So, and I love Christmas time. I am the happiest person on the planet when November rolls around and, ABC Family and the Hallmark Channel start playing all of the Christmas movies. That's me. So, I know I wanted to have a Christmas-themed book, and then I just kind of sat down and started thinking about, what I wanted to see, and, not that I first came up with, the tragedy thing, but, it was just a matter of what her life had been versus what it is now, and how she kind of just pulls herself together and just tries to do the best she can for her daughter.
That's right. Because, normally Christmas is a very sad time for a lot of people, though.
Yeah.
They lost loved ones or somebody special, siblings, aunts, godparents, it's like some people's like, oh, just like you, they all up for it. That's me, putting decorations everywhere, the lights, taking pictures of the house, and doing, 3 and 4 Christmas trees. I have a buddy, he has going up down the steps, and some people really go out. I think we have 3 parties. I think my buddy, we go to around 5 parties. So it's that time of the year you look forward to it, but like I said, sometimes
for some it's not, and that's true. Like for anybody that's lost someone around the holidays or just in general, that the first of everything is hard for you. The first Christmas without them, the first Thanksgiving, the first birthday, the first your birthday, the first their birthday, and so on and so forth. So that was just something that I kind of tied into when I was writing that, because it's everybody knows what it is to lose somebody and try to still kind of go on, but try not to get just overwhelmed with grief.
That's right. And that's a beautiful cover, too. I just love it. It just looks so festive.
Thank you.
Wow. Yes,
that was one of the ones I got to pick, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Good for you. And it's funny because we're gonna have a bittersweet Christmas next year. Also, traditionally we always have our friends. They come in from Texas, and they from this area. So everybody comes. We used to go bowling, but then my wife said, "Hey, why everybody just come over?" We always end up going bowling. Then got to go find some place to eat that can accommodate all these people. So we started having it at our house, and I think we've been doing it like 3-4 straight years. And everybody has such a good time. We play the games on the DVDs, and we sing karaoke, and we dancing, and the kids we may start out playing those those big video games where you dance into Michael Jackson, and I think we got the Black Eyed Peas. So we have a really good time. And then one of the families lost their mother, the 2 kids, and our ex-husband. He would still come to the parties even though they weren't married anymore. He had such a great time that he really looked forward to it. So she won't be with us next Christmas, and she just passed this last week. So I was just thinking about that. I don't see her, through the year, but every holiday it's the same group come by with their families, and it's going to be something that
It's really hard, yeah.
Yeah. We really sweet girl, really sweet. All right. Well, I really appreciate all this good stuff you brought to the show.
Thank you.
Man, you're a writing machine.
Not really. Don't be fooled. I still have a day job, so yeah, I have to kind of squeeze the writing in when I can, because I work full time, and then I have I have a 14-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old son, and they have activities and a husband, and everybody's got stuff to do, and so I actually find sometimes that it's kind of difficult because at the end of the day, I'm just as tired as everybody else, so sometimes I'll have to, suck it up and go write for a while. And so, that was one of the things I was so excited about. I was like, ooh, I actually have 2 books coming out in the same year. And then, of course, I know authors that have 9 and 10 books coming out in the year. So,
I know.
Oh, well.
Isn't that something? So, do you write for a living?
No, actually, I don't. I work for a technology company, and so although with anything, you find that even though people aren't, say for instance, a published writer, there's still so much writing that people do in their day-to-day lives. You'd just be surprised. And so I'm always writing about something or other. It's just whether or not I want to be writing about it. And so that's one of the reasons why I look forward to writing the romance novels, because that's all for me, and it's something that I just love to do. It's what I'm passionate about is what I would do if I made no money at all. So that's like, okay, all right, I guess I found the spiritual gift and what I'm supposed to be doing. So, at some point in time, it's the hope and the dream to do it full time, but right now it's not, but.
I understand. Now, is this your slogan on your page? When love speaks, you better listen.
Yeah, it is.
You better listen. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wanted a tagline, so I just kind of came up with I try to come up with something for each book. In the first book I had, Watch Your Back. That one was danger isn't always in plain sight. Sometimes you have to watch your back. And so for Interview with Love, it was like when love speaks, you better listen. But that one kind of stuck. So that's my tagline.
That's right. That's your tagline. Now, you have written several books based on multicultural short stories and novels. What's the deal? You just bringing in all the races, because this is a diverse world now. The federal government is really pulling hard for, they want the government to look like America now, the melting pot. So is that where you're going?
Well, I enjoy writing multicultural novels, and as well as just, the straight African American novels. And I want everybody to be able to pick up a book and read it and enjoy it, no matter, what color they are. And so I try to make sure that, my characters have universal appeal. In Love Contract, Milan is half Mexican, half African American. So I thought it was important for me to kind of try to incorporate some of her, her native tongue in there. She speaks Spanish. Her mother is Mexican, and so it was important for me to kind of try to keep it as realistic as possible. And of course, Spanish is a romance language, so why not put it in a romance book?
That's right.
So I had some there, and in the Business Mixed with Pleasure series for my ebooks, those centered around African American and a Caucasian guy. They were, private investigators, and so they worked together, but, they found time to mix a little business with pleasure. And so, I kind of, so you never know. I love travel, and you never know when I will work someplace I've visited into one of my stories or into even the heritage of one of my characters. So, I just try to keep it versatile when I can.
That's right. Now, does the industry, are they separating some of the genres now? Like, I know you're really into romance now, more love potion type writing. Are there conventions just designed for you guys alone?
Yeah, well, I say yes, but then like the convention that I'm associated with right now, the RT Book Lovers Convention, that's put on every year by RT Book Review magazine, and it's a romance convention, but they've got so many different genres represented. They have, thrillers and mysteries and sci-fi, fantasy, paranormal, steampunk, westerns, erotica. Every genre is represented well, and it's kind of nice because everybody just kind of descends on a city for 5 to 7 days, and you have like hundreds of authors there in attendance and a huge book signing, and you have thousands of readers that come from all over the world to come to this convention, and so it's just, I've never seen anything like it before, and so I've kind of been doing the helping with the publicity for it for the last 10 years. So I kind of fell into that about the way I fell into being a published author. So it's things like that I'm always mindful of when opportunities present themselves. It's up to me to be aware and to kind of go with it.
That's right. So where is it this year?
This year we're going to be in New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
We're going to be there May 13th through the 18th. So we'll be at the Marriott on Canal Street. And so on Saturday, the 17th, is going to be a huge book signing of indie authors as well as traditionally published authors. And it's open to the public. And day passes are available for Teen Day. They're going to have an all-day party just for teens and YA authors, so they get to meet their best-selling authors. They get to have a party and giveaways and goodies and stuff, and they have a fantastic day where it's all about the fans and the readers. So they've got a little bit for everybody.
That sounds good. Man, I wish it was a little closer.
Well, they like I said, every year we're someplace different. Last year we were in Kansas City. I believe in 2016 we're going to be in Dallas, Texas. We've been to Daytona, Los Angeles, Houston. And so, they change the venue every year.
So is it the same time of year?
Usually it's usually around late April, early May. That they have the convention, and then they, have the website, rtconvention.com, so they kind of tell you what's going on, what they have coming up the year, the next year. They usually tell you where they're going to be so people can kind of plan. And so it's just an amazing, incredible thing. And I mean, I get starstruck myself, too, meeting some of the authors that I grew up reading. And then, just to see them face to face, I'm like, wow. So, Don't be fooled. Yeah, I do have some books under my belt. But, I mean, there's always room for improvement and learning and stuff like that. And they have workshops and stuff like that, too. So it's just pretty cool. I can't say enough. I can talk all day about it.
Yeah, it sounds like. Now, who are some of your favorites out there that you're expecting to be there this year?
Darn near everybody. I mean, let's see. Andrew Peterson's there. He writes, the thriller novels. I remember last year I was so excited because Jude Devereaux was there, and Julie Garwood, and I've been kind of reading them since I was young. I grew up kind of reading historical novels, and to actually meet the authors like Charlene Harris and Sylvia Day, Heather Graham. These are seriously best-selling authors, and they're usually there every year. And then just to meet them up close and personal and be able to sit and break bread with them and kind of, talk to them. Beverly Jenkins is going to be there. Brenda Jackson's going to be there. Christina Sky. A lot of the best-selling YA authors. Kiera Cass is going to be there. And some of these authors have actually got movies out. And television series is so it's pretty cool.
That is wonderful, especially to meet somebody who has a movie.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. My daughter's seen like Beautiful Creatures. She's seen Divergent. So when she found out that the author's going to be, it's like, ooh. So she's got a list of authors that she wants books from and autographed, of course. And I'm like, okay, you can pick like 3. I'm not going to be having a whole list of people I got to go run around trying to, get books from. So usually I try to bring them something home too. I mean, because I'm gone for almost a week, and Grandma comes to kind of hang out and watch the tribe. So, I try to get books for them.
That's right. Now, what happens when you have a fan that they're really like really loving you over the ebooks, and they need a autograph from you? Would they just buy one of your soft cover books and you just make it out to them?
Well, unfortunately for the ebooks, I really got to work on that whole. It depends, because if I'm in person, then even if they do get an ebook, you got that software. I think it's called Autograph. So I can like sign their iPad or something like that, and it puts the signature that they get to keep. But other than that, unless I'm there, that's kind of I just autograph the paperback books.
Well, I never heard that before. So you actually signed the iPad? Yeah,
I saw that like maybe I think 1 or 2 conventions ago. And I saw a lot of people walking around with iPads, little laptops or iPads or something like that. I'm like, wow, what are they doing? So you learn something new every day. But so they were able to get their, the authors that they wanted to get autographs for. They just handed them the iPad, and they signed their name, and it stores it. So I'm like, ooh, that's cool. I haven't done it yet, but it looks cool.
That's right. You got to get on board now.
I know. I'm so far behind.
I mean, it's just so amazing, how they come up with these things. 'Cause that was my biggest question for the longest time. Everybody's pushing ebooks. I mean, they're making so much money off of these things, a lot of the authors that I'm talking to. And I'm just wondering, if they show up someplace and they having a signing, do you have like posters or postcards available?
I have. I always have postcards. So I've signed postcards before for people that may or may not have wanted to get the book, and that's fine. And I always make sure that somebody has a postcard because they may not buy you now, but they may buy you later, or they may recommend you to someone else. So I try to make sure that I have postcards that have the books on them, or the gist of what some of the stories are about, and I have little swag and stuff that I get for, people to give away and stuff like that. So, somebody, whoever's coming up to my table is walking away with something.
That's right. Very good. Very good. Well, that's Lisa Watson. She's going to be in New Orleans the 31st. What did you say? The 30th? Oh, it's the 31st
May
annual RT.
May 13th through the 18th.
May 13th. Okay. Now, you actually have May 14th through the 18th on your site. Is that
oversight.
incorrect?
I think I fixed that, but yeah.
All right. So this is the 30. So this is the 31st annual RT Book Lovers Convention. Okay, and come out and meet her. Bring your iPad. She's ready to
I'll
sign
make sure I borrow my son's iPad so I can have the autograph software.
That's right.
I have a laptop, so I was like, let me borrow your iPad for 5 days.
That's right. Now, Lisa, it was a pleasure to meet you, and I wish you so much success with your projects. You're really doing a very good job. You got Matchbroker series out there. You're releasing something in October 16th, which is Love by Design. Love Contract still available to people want to download?
Absolutely.
All right. So anybody who's listening to the show and you fall in love with her last project, she has others out there for you to read. Because I know now people are just want to grab up as much. It's just like watching Netflix. You watch one series, you want to watch them all. So
okay, I am guilty of that myself. So I completely agree with that one.
Yeah, that's what's happening. I think when somebody like you, is introduced to the world through a podcast, and you just have one book, I think that's a loss. But in your case, it's a win-win, and that is fantastic.
Thank you for having me, Jerry. I really appreciate the opportunity. It was great chatting with you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just glad we had an opportunity to hook up with you. And before you go, would you like to say anything to our audience? Leave them something, positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't be afraid to follow your dream, because you never know when opportunities present themselves. So you really got to be open to different things. And sometimes you lead with fear, and you're wondering if maybe you should do it or maybe you shouldn't. And I always say, just trust trust what you have on the inside. Trust that inner voice. And, you'll usually find that it won't lead you astray. And just be inspired. Do what makes you happy and follow your dream, and just don't be afraid to try.
That's right. Well put. Very, very nicely done. Now, everybody, don't forget about Michael McGrew. He's going to be on the show tomorrow, and continue to listen to Lisa's show. It was a lot to learn. Anybody that's aspiring to be a romance novel, I always say that's the direction to go if you're really creative, because you can just keep putting them out, and your fan base will support you. That's one thing I love about the genre that you guys are experiencing.
Or any genre, really, believe me, because they're diehard sci-fi, and all the other genres, thrillers, mystery. There's fans no matter what genre it is, and they are diehard. And once they love you, they'll buy, they'll buy your books, and they'll continue to support you.
That's right, but we need more love in the world.
There's always room for love and a happy ending.
I know. The news was just so bad today, Lisa, this morning.
Yeah.
It was so bad. So we need more of this. So keep putting out the Match Broker.
I absolutely will.
That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, come out and see us tomorrow. Again, Michael McGrew will be here. Check out the site. We have plenty of books for sale for authors you're not familiar with. You can listen to the show. We got CeCe Solomon. She's a first-time author. I heard her book is very nice. And don't forget about Rhonda M. Lawson. I think she's having another virtual Facebook book release again. She did a very good job the first time. She had over 1,000 people out there in her virtual release party. So we're going to go out there and support her again. And don't forget about following us on Spreaker, on Spreaker.com. That's on the website. Come out and check us out. The more followers we get, the better chance we have to try to get on satellite radio on the XM, so you can listen to our beautiful authors on your drive to work. All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and thank you so much. I'm Jerry Royce, and it's PositivePower21.org. Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in, and please spread the word and tell a friend. This is Jerry Royce at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.